Hello, I am Senator Donzella James, and I'm so honored today to present a family that has really been icons in their area in the state of Georgia. And it was in Milledgeville, Georgia. Milledgeville, Georgia, of course, was the first state capital of the state of Georgia. And many, many years ago, there was a little old lady named Llewellyn Slappy, my great-grandmother, who lived there, who was born and raised there, and who had two businesses there. She was well known, and she was very prosperous. She even knew Madam C.J. Walker. But we're not here for my great-grandmother today, Llewellyn Slappy. But one of her friends during that era is now being saluted and honored. And they are very, very worthy. Mr. Henry Veal Sr. and Mrs. Mamie Solomon Veal were also the proud owners of the Veal Cafe in downtown Milledgeville. It was the show place. It was the restaurant where everybody looked forward to going to, especially on special holidays. They were the first African Americans to own a restaurant with a Coca-Cola sign on the front of it in that great city of Milledgeville. Henry Veal served in World War I as a mess sergeant for the White Army officers. While stationed in France, he learned to speak French fluently. There is a historic bench that's in downtown Milledgeville dedicated in honor of the Veal family. It is said that the Veal Cafe was where all the World War II soldiers came when they came to Georgia because they wanted a good meal. Many of the Veal's children and other relatives worked in the cafe to help put themselves through college. Yes, it was a wonderful place, and Milledgeville has recognized them. Representative E. Rusty Kidd put in a resolution this year to name one of the main roads in Milledgeville after the Veal-Solomon family. And we're very proud that in August, they named this street after the Veal-Solomon family. It's now the Veal-Solomon Highway. I'm going to yield to a wonderful young woman who is one of the descendants of the family. She is the granddaughter of the Veal-Solomon family, and that's Miss Jeanette Brooks, and she will give you a little more knowledge about this great family.
Thank you so much, Senator James, and on behalf of your grandmother, on behalf of my grandparents, Henry Veal Sr. and Mamie Solomon Veal, as well as the Veal family of educators, which includes the Veal Doctorate 5, the Veal 6 sibling career educators, and 22 other descendants who have a master's degree or higher. We would like to present you with this commemorative sign.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm truly honored, and I cannot wait until I can ride on the Veal-Solomon Highway. I've been up and down Milledgeville many times on this same road, but now it's going to have a special meaning. So thank you very much. And Ms. Brooks, tell us more about the program that has been established as a result.
Holler at Your Ancestors is a genealogical nonprofit organization that seeks to honor the 150th sesquicentennial, which happens to be my new favorite word, celebration of the 150th anniversary of the end of slavery. What we are doing is going around the country and putting up 150 tributes similar to this highway and the award that we're receiving today. The third will actually be a lunchroom down in Augusta, Georgia, over Labor Day weekend in honor of Annie Luke Scott, who has 33 years with the Richmond County school system, and 18 of those years was as a lunchroom manager. And we will be naming the lunchroom where she worked after her. So it doesn't have to be something as elaborate as what it is now, but we have so many soldiers who worked during slavery and after to make Georgia and the rest of the country what it is now, and we would like to honor each and every one of those folks that we can. What we will do is next year, each family that supports this by doing their genealogical research and donating a copy to their home state archives will actually be invited to work with Habitat for Humanity and to learn how to do one technique. And then they'll take that back to their hometown and on their own land and with a grant sponsored by either Home Depot or Lowe's, which we know that Senator James is going to support us in securing, we will build a family recreation center. We will have 150 of those throughout the country because they will be on land that is already self-owned. It will be built with the sweat equity of the families, and it will be supported with grant funding, so therefore there will be no cost. It will already be paid for in full. We will have 150 of these, and then it'll be like a timeshare. If you did one in Los Angeles or in LA, and we did one here in Atlanta, then you are free to come here for your particular family reunion following that. The year after that, we will have 150 simultaneous family reunion, and along with several of our other sponsors who I'd like to name at this time, the Hampton Inn, Starbucks, the Marriott Fairfield Inn, and most importantly, who has donated all of the framing for all of these services, Sam Flax, which is now moving to Peachtree in Buckhead, as well as the Hampton Inn, Lafitte, and Chef Davenport Catering, and Printing by Concierge. We would also like to culminate by saying that one of our biggest sponsors is the Marriott, the Atlanta Marriott Norcross. Shanique Davis is the sales manager, and she's been very supportive, as well as Linda Murphy, who handles all of the family reunions for the Gwinnett County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Along with them and Gwinnett County, we will be having in 2014 150 families with a simultaneous family reunion. We will have everything from wheelchair racing to Bible quoting to Scrabble to sweet potato pie making to spelling bees and basketball, whatever you think your family can do better than my family. We will culminate in 2015 during the actual 150th celebration at the grand opening of the African American Smithsonian Museum with our hopes of having a First Lady as our guest speaker. Very quickly and finally, to tell you a little bit about the Veal family of education. Our slaveholder was the Lamar family. They had the Fairfield Plantation, which covered a great portion of Hancock and Baldwin County. They had 10,000 acres. They were very influential. They were captains and officers in the Revolutionary as well as the Confederate, on the Confederate side of the Civil War. They actually gave books, we believe, this has not been confirmed, to our slaveholder families, to Elvira Webster Pearson. And she, in turn, gave those books and created education in our family, which has turned into a legacy of starting with Frank Veal of the Veal Doctorate 5, who became a university president in 1948 after getting his doctorate from Boston University in 1948. He was the president of Paul Quinn College and Allen University. The Veal Doctorate number 2 is Hal Franklin. Hal was an ebony photographer who traveled the world twice and who turned around at the age of 35 and went back to school to become a renowned brain surgeon. Number 3 was Betty Collier Thomas, and Betty started the Mary McLeod Bethune Museum and received presidential awards from both Bush 1 and from Reagan. She also was the first female to receive a doctorate from George Washington University. The Veal Doctorate number 4 is Michael Veal. Michael is an Ivy League doctorate professor as well as a graduate of Yale University. And the Veal Doctorate 5 is actually our own Dr. Tanya Saunders right here in Atlanta, Georgia. She is a principal at Sammy E. Cohen, and her school has the first school to actually, the entire school has received education on the Mandarin culture as well as learning the Chinese language, every single student in the school. And then secondly, there's the Veal-6, and they are 6 siblings, the children who are all listed here. And they all have each 22 years as educators, and collectively they have 170 years as educators, and 2 of those are Ivy League master's degrees. In total, and we are actually submitting them to the Guinness Book of World Records as the only sibling educators to ever have this distinction. I think they may be the only siblings of any nationality to actually have that distinction. My research and the book is still in progress. And finally, we currently have over 15 members who have a master's degree or higher, who are descendants of Henry Veal and 3 of his brothers. We are very, very proud that Milledgeville, Georgia has named the second Saturday in August as Veal Educators Day, and we hope to continue to pass on the legacy of my mother, Annie Veal Brooks, who was a reading specialist and who taught Ivy League Veal Doctorate number 4, Michael, who had a reading disability before he started school. My mother was asked to study with him, and he actually was not able to read or write, and by the time he went to the first grade, he was on the 7th grade reading level. And she is considered to be one of the best teachers to ever teach in the Baldwin County school system. So on behalf of my ancestors who are no longer here, on behalf of Senator James, John Ross, and the city of Milledgeville, as well as Holler at Your Ancestors and the 150th celebration of the end of slavery, we say thank you.
Yes, we thank you very much for being here today, and we thank all of the people all over Georgia who are celebrating with us, Mr. Henry Veal Sr. and Miss Mamie Veal-Solomon Veal, on the naming of their new highway. Thank you very much. You see that it's a proud history that came as part of Milledgeville. That's why I started out with my great-grandmother, Miss Llewellyn Heel Slappy. And I hope that she'll be one of those that'll be celebrated in the many 150 who will be celebrated from that great city. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Senator Donzella James, we're always here for you.